Okay, I wasn't planning on, I wasn't going to drill out or start from the beginning because most people here have got a lot of experience. Since I only have some new people, I'll go right from the blank to the finished product. If that's okay with everybody, it might take me about an extra 10, 15 minutes. So what I start with is just a blank like that. It's 4 inches long. It's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And this is what I'm hoping to end up with. So I can pass this around if you want. It's a lighted angel. There is a light on the bottom of it. The wings I do out of a 2x4, and all I do is I resaw the 2x4, slice it, and then form the weight and sand it down. So if you want to hit the switch on the bottom of that, that does light up.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, okay, good. In this light, it doesn't show up that much, but in a dim room, it really shows up. Okay, I've made myself a couple of jam chucks. When I drill these out, I'll go through that. As you can see, I drill it. Let me put this down. I drill it so that I've got 1 7/8, 1 1/4 inches, and that's where my light sits, is in there. And I built a jam chuck that will slide on there nice and tight and hold it while I finish the angel off. And this is to finish and build the wings on it. So. So without further ado, I will just get at this. What did I do with my...
What is that?
That is just a chunk of aspen. It's actually a spindle blank that I bought at Windsor Plywood. I can get eight angels out of a blank, and the blank's $15. So it's not expensive to do. What I do every winter is I do a bunch of... Did you ever say anything down? Now I can't find it again. There we go.
Found it.
I actually found it, yeah. What? Oh. Because I don't know if you guys have a live center. Okay, let's get at it. Okay, I've already marked centers on these. It's kind of critical that you do get centered. Because once you drill it out, you want to make sure that you're not small on one side and really big on the other. Not to forgive me, this different lathe than what I use, so every time I use it, it's a learning experience. Okay, safety first. Anytime you're doing this kind of stuff, you should make sure that you're not wearing a watch or anything. I learned that lesson the hard way. I've caught my watch as I was parting off on the fins of my lathe, and it hurts like heck. I've never did any damage to myself, but it does hurt, and it destroys watches. I don't know why. That thing's been in it, you know.
Wasn't the Timex, was it?
What's that?
It wasn't the Timex.
No, it wasn't the Timex, no. I wish it was. I didn't want to have to spin it by hand all night.
You slow down.
Yeah. So anytime you start a lane, you should always be standing, even if you're in between centers, you should always stand off to the side. Because just in case something happens and that flies off, you don't want to be in the way. Then you can bring it up to the... Sounds good. I also built a little deal here for my little chuck, because I chuck it up on the small chuck later, and I'll pass this around when I'm done. For the new giveaway here, anytime you're using a long range and you're turning things, try to get in the habit of using the body movement. I know when I started, I just used my arms, and it's a real hard habit to get out of. You'll get a lot nicer cut, a lot nicer job if you let your body be the pivot. And just hold the chisel where you want it. The other thing I have is just a piece of cardboard. Of course, I didn't bring a pencil, but I can set it behind. And all it does is just mark out where I need to, where I'm going to put my where the lamp quits and the.
Do you want a pen?
You don't know? Okay. And where the skirt starts, because if you don't start it in the right spot, you end up with I had one here, I don't know what it is, but basically it makes a nice napkin ring. Okay. To put a ruffle on it, I just put a little bead right here, and that just tells me when to stop. I try to get in the habit of cutting out of these all every time I turn around to do something. just so that it's not sitting there spinning on its own. If you're gonna put any kind of knurling on this, do it before you drill it out, because you have more substance that's not going to start bending on it.
What tool is that, sorry?
This is a Robert Sorby. It's a knurling tool. It's not really knurling, it's
Texture.
a texturing tool. Yeah. They make that size, and they make a smaller one. And I quite often wish I would have bought the smaller one, because I'm normally doing smaller ornaments and stuff with it. But I didn't, so. Is there a bar?
Somewhere in that cabinet.
So, how much did the sort of worm tool or whatever cost?
Texture.
Yeah,
Factory tool, what did it cost?
yeah.
You know what, if I tell you that, I have to tell my wife.
Don't let it sell your tools for what you over you paid.
That's right.
Joy, he uses it all the time, so don't worry.
That's right. The rule is that if he buys a new tool, he better use it.
We had that conversation earlier today.
Is it pretty? No.
I wish I had a tape measure, because I keep on putting this stuff down, and it gets jumbled up. Anyway, I think the knurling tool cost, or the texturing tool cost me about $150, something like that. You buy it, if you buy a Robert Sorby or a brand name, you're paying for the name. It's that simple. Yeah, what about Okay, the first one I drill is the 1.25 inch. Okay, this is just simple drilling. This is nothing fancy about it. I use 1 7/16 to start off with. Anytime you're using one of these philosophy bits, you should be more than 600 RPM.
But you can always spoil yourself.
Oh, that's the piece I was looking for that I said makes a good napkin ring if you do it wrong. And I always just take one of my legs and just make sure I drill deep enough. Normally 99.9% of the time I do, because I've got this tape on there, but sometimes I just don't have the faith.
He likes the burn. What size is that one?
This is 1 1/8 inch. And again, put the tape on it, and that's my marker for where to quit.
What kind of force difference do you use?
Woodpecker. And I use woodpecker because that's what they had when I went to buy pits.
That's the only reason you need.
Yep. Doesn't hurt to clear your bits when you're doing this. It seems that's drilled out now. We'll just double check. Okay. My mark's about 2 millimeters ahead, so I'm good. Well, even though I have the jam chuck on here, I always bring out my live center. This is for security. Because I'm kind of a coward when I'm turning, I use my magic tape to hold everything together. And that's mainly for just when I go to head, just to finish off the heads, it's just to ensure that that won't come off. And you'll find if you do this and you're building jam chucks out of wood, and they're just a little loose, little piece of paper towel or just a little spray of water will tighten it right up. Okay. Let's continue on, continuing on. Thing when you're using any kind of material, if you can use body movement and work downhill, you'll always get a better job. call a Cassey. See if I have anything left to play with here. Well,
Not enough to ring yet.
what's that?
It's not enough to ring yet.
Not enough back there to play with, no?
Collar just got a little tighter, that's all.
Yeah, I'll see. Now we'll see what happens. I'll give it a nice skinny little waist, just like Barbie. Yeah, I think it'll work.
Perfect.
Anytime something like that happens, it's called a design change.
Yeah. Maybe.
So I know where the wind's gonna go now. That'll make it easy.
Told you. That's what you told me.
So the only thing I have left is to do a little bit of drilling. And I just, we gotta get a cable for this area. This is ridiculous. Everything gets messed up. So for the holes in the body, I just use a 5/32 bit. I tried a 1/8 bit and I found it's just a little too big. Probably didn't bring my,
You have diagrams of the.
I sent a diagram to the club quite a while ago, so yeah, they have a diagram.
And the specifications are written, I think, on the diagram.
Yep. Everything's written on the diagram. I don't have my awl, so I'll just wing it. And all I do is, from the top, I just, and the only, these holes on the back that I put on, these 6 holes I put on the back, it helps to light the wing up. So this is where the wing's going to be. I think I'd set one around that was done. I didn't have the wings or anything on it, just to show you how I kind of went about it. So, and then I just drill random holes on the front of it, just for light beak. I tried doing a pattern and everything else, and I found this is just as easy as doing a pattern, easier than doing a pattern. Just drill holes. I don't have a set number that I do or anything else. I just Try to keep them random. Fill it full of holes, yeah. If you put water in it, it should leak. If it doesn't leak, you don't have enough holes.
The other purpose of the ruffle is, you know, that's where the tea light ends, so you can poke holes anywhere else.
I buy these spindle blanks from Windsor Plywood, and I like them for this kind of stuff because they're laminated and you can see the actual line on it. So I know exactly where half of it is. Because I try to do half with all the holes and then the other half is for the wings. And then all I do for the wing, I'm going to chunk a dowel. Take an 1/8" bag point bit and try to drill a little hole. Yeah, there's a chip on it. This one I'll tell my wife it's special and give it to her for Christmas.
Oh, thank you. At least you won't give it away this time.
I don't know why I get accused of that. Yeah, you know the guy that builds them, so.
Yeah, you promised you would, but you didn't.
Yeah, to make a long story short, what I do is, the one I sent around that was finished, just an 1/8" dowel, I glue in, and yeah, that one. I just glue it in, put a little bit of glue there, glue the dowel in, and I just sand off the back of it so that it stays in, and that's it. These little eye hooks or the eyes, I get at EWG. They get the real nice small ones there. And I used to make them, but it's such a pain to make. But these are easy. Just screw them in.
Where did you get them from? So, where's the halo for?
EWG. The halo, that comes later, after a few rubs.
How do you keep the tea light in the base of the...
I use hot glue. I had that one angel there, so I just had it, you know, put the tea light in it.
Okay.
I do have the tea light.
Yeah, it's just right there.
Yeah.
You don't use a lot of glue, just enough,
I just use a little dab on each side, that's all.
and you take it out when it dies, replace it.
You can replace the battery if you want. Yeah.
It's just as cheap to go on Amazon, buy the whole light.
It is, but once it's glued in there, then you have to get it out.
Where, Amazon? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I paid 20 bucks, 17 bucks or something like that for 24 of them. I can't remember what they're cheap. They're about $1 a piece. Well, that's eating up all this stuff. Now look here again. I know I just had my hands not very long ago, so I'm sure it's not
Do you make your own dowel?
No, I buy the dowel.
That kind of stuff I use is, yours.
There we are.
Yeah,
I do have it.
you found it.
Yeah, I do have it. This is the glue I use. I learned this from Bert last year because I like this glue because it dries nice and clear. You can't, once you have it, once it dries, it just looks, you can't tell it's there.
Quick and quick. Quick and quick?
Quick and quick. Yeah. These fellas here, in the clock, I forgot more about turning than I'll ever know, so. If you have any questions,
The dowel, it's not very big, but it helps offset the wing from the back and separate it. And you usually put what, just regular,
That just glues the wing, right? You're not putting
no, he actually drilled a hole in the wing.
Okay.
You have the wing,
I would let it sit.
the wings fell right.
there, I put them back in the case, dear. They fell and I put them back in the case. Yeah.
What do you want?
Oh, I thought you had an extra one.
Here's a wing here. You want to see it?
And yeah, so then when you put the wing on, just a dab of what? What's the glue? You just use regular wood though, don't you? Bond?
Tight bond.
Tight bond,
The no run, no drip wood glue. It dries quick. I don't know if any of you people have this problem in your shop, but if I set it up and down, it's gone.
And the dowel.
I'm looking for that extra dowel I have. It's here.
Oh, she took it.
You gave it to me.
She stole it. Story of my life.
I usually stay out of the shop.
I realize I don't like yoga every time I have to bend over and pick something up.
Wood shop yoga.
So I'll drill this one out and then put the wing on it.
So you drilled that, what? Quarter inch down on the wing?
What, where the wing hole? The hole on the wing? Well, it depends how big you make your angel. I do it, mine is 10 millimeter. Because I find that's a good mark. It's kind of even with the head. And seeing as how I was brought up as a good Catholic boy, I know what angels look like. And
So you don't glue the bottom of the wing?
what's that?
You don't glue the bottom of the wing? You just
I put a little dab of glue on the bottom, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I missed that.
I guess you must have. Crying out loud, now what do I do with the light?
I think the wife has it.
The wife has my light now?
No, I don't have the light.
Who's got the tea light? Cough it up.
Something's got to be
Is it in the barn?
That's okay, I hid one so that if somebody, if she decided to help me out, I'd know where one was. I spend a third of my time in the shop looking for something I put down. The rest of the time I have fun.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's it. Any questions?
Rick, one thing you might mention is why you drilled the large bore in the center, inside, before the small one. You might want to mention that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Whenever you're drilling, if you can go, when you use, especially when you're using a Fossner bit, it gives you a good center. If you drill the small hole first and then try to get in there, it's really hard to center that Fossner. You can't. But if you go big and then small, the smaller bit will go right into the hole.
So you can see, or this is one that
And keep it centered.
turned it. And if you remember the demonstration that he did on the toothpick holders, he used the same dowel to just sand out the bits on the, then smooth it out on the inside.
Any other questions? Good, I think I
Apply
got
any
you.
finish?
What's that?
You apply any finish?
Well, I used to use a coat of lacquer on it when I'm done.
Okay.
Quick and dirty, I'm not, I tried, tell you the truth, I tried doing a friction polish, but there's such a pain, because there's so many holes and everything in it, I found just a lacquer works like a charm. And I use that Aspen spindle blanks because they're white and angels are, you know, kind of white. And like I say, the wings are just made, I just slice a 2x4, resaw a 2x4 and then cut them out and sand them.
Yeah.
So the whole angel with the light and everything else probably cost me $5. And for some reason, people see them and they want to have them. I don't know why. It astounds me.
You cut the wing shape first on the 2x4 and then slice it?
No, I slice a 2x4 into, excuse me, into 3/8 slices. I can get 3 slices out of a chunk of 2x4. And then I'll draw the wing shapes out. Or actually, sorry, I'll slice it and then I'll run it through my planer to clean it up. I was sanding them, but it leaves so many sanding marks on it that I just now run it through my thickness planer. And it comes out at about 1/8 of an inch, somewhere around there when I'm done. And then I just draw them out, cut them on the bandsaw, and then I have an oscillating sander that I just form them with that.
Thanks.
So if you're thinking, you know, I mean, you can do all this stuff by hand. Depends how much energy you have, how much time you have, and how patient you are. But when you're lazy like me, I like to have the equipment, so. And I bought this oscillating sander probably about 10 years ago when I was doing cradles for my grandchildren. And I hadn't used it for years, but my wife comes in every once in a while. When she comes in, I have to pull it out and use it, so she thinks I use it all the time.
What'd you do?
The rule is, he can buy anything he wants as long as he uses it.
Oh, hey.
We all heard that.
I'm gonna go to the Ferrari dealer tomorrow.
Yeah, we got it on video.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
That's good. Thanks,
Oh,
Rick.
thank you very much.
I have a question about the chuck.
Yes?
What's the diameter of the chuck? Like how,
This is a 30, it's inch and 3/8, I believe. Yeah, inch and 3/8. It's a record power chuck. It's, I bought it from an outfit in Ontario, and I use it all the time. I like it. It comes with a set of dome jaws with it, so if you're doing finials, you can put the deal in there, and the dome, you can get right up to it because it's a nice dome.
Is that the SC3 or the SC4?
SC2.
SE2,
SC2.
yeah.
I have a 3. Electric power, S. Stock room supply.
The stockroom supply is where I bought it.
Stockroom supplies.
They, kind of a gold open.
Oh, the dome job.
Yeah, that's what I was looking
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The other thing, just for your knowledge, if you ever have to do this and you gotta take tools around, that's the best tool holder I've ever had. Protects the ends, just an old pair of gloves. I just put some tape on it and you don't have to worry about your sharp ends getting banged up.
That was
Or
like
cutting
new gloves.
yourself.
My old gloves all don't have any tips on the thing.
That's because you put tools in them. So it's to keep your fingers away from the blades.
Good, thanks to do.
Well, that's it for me then. I'll just find my junk and
You guys want to take a quick break? There's Joe's from upstairs.
Okay.
Just little blocks that I made. I don't know what kind of wood it is. It's not mahogany. It's too open grain for that. Or walnut, I should say, but I'm not sure what it is.
Is that natural color here?
Yeah, it's natural color, and I just wipe on poly that I put on.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It might be Clara Walnut in California.
I'm sorry, Ken?
It might be Clara Walnut in California.
Oh, that could be. Could be.
Because it's got a little reddish look in it.
Yeah.
Was it a pretty hard wood?
Yeah, it's fairly hard. But the powders too, it doesn't really cut perfect. Or it's like shavings, a lot of powder on it. Especially on that when you're trying to hollow the end grain.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you, very nice.
Thank you very much.
Yay!
I know I've been coming out here, month after month, and you kind of wonder whether I actually have a lathe, but I do. And I actually found the on switch. So this is my first, well, actually second bowl. My first one I got last month. It was the one that we did the learn to turn. You guys have got to take that. It's awesome. The instructors, or the mentors are amazing. So this is spruce. It was destined to be firewood, and I pulled it back. This one, unlike the first bowl I made, I learned that when you do the bottom, you need to know that you will never come back, and you need to make it look lovely, because you will never be back there. So that's this one. This one, I think, was a board. It's also spruce, just probably a 2x6, 2x4, and just a little bowl, same kind of thing. And this one, it's also spruce, just a little bit of a different angle on it.
Would login tool be able to turn around and do the bottoms on a jam truck or something?
Yes, if I had that skill level, I'd be on top of that. But no, can't do the jam truck.
Yeah.
Well, I probably can do the jam
So
truck.
once you took them off, they were done?
Yeah, they're done. So I finished these, sanded them, and finished them.
I'm at that stage trying to figure out what
Yeah. So the jam truck is maybe the next step. So those are my bowls. So I do have a lathe, and I did turn it on.
Very nice.
It's working, isn't it? I just got to hold it a little bit closer to your mouth when you're talking. So here's my 2024 Christmas ornaments. So far I've made 75 of these.
Whoa.
And my list of people that are getting them is 76, so I have to make some more. In addition to the lanterns, which I started making last year, but this is what I'm using as my 2024 ornament, I started making these little stands.
How did you like the turn?
I was just going to explain that.
Excellent.
But I started with a 3x3 cube, or square, about 4 inches long, so it's not really a cube. And I turned the chuck on one end, and then I turned the cone. So that's the cone sticking out of the chuck. And I take my chuck over to my bandsaw, and I have a little jig that holds my chuck on its side. And I put my jam or my jig with the chuck hanging on it, and my miter, I turn the miter to 20 degrees, which means now this is looking at the bandsaw blade at 20 degrees, and I just go zip,
Okay.
and it comes out like that.
Oh, it's fine.
Straight cone kind of thing.
Yeah. But this thing here is really, really heavily weighted.
Yes.
So I drilled, before I put the cone, I drilled a hole, 3/4 inch hole, about 2.5 inches up the side. And the only thing that you have to be careful of is when you cut the cone, you don't make the cone smaller than 3/4 of an inch, or you end up with an offset funnel. And they burn real good.
But they're easy to hang on to with that offset.
They burn real good?
Yeah.
And then I put some lead. I made some, I got a piece of aluminum, drilled a 3/4 inch hole in it, and I got some lead from Jack, and I melted it down, and I make these little pucks, little lead pucks. So there's probably almost 60 or 70 grams of these little discs in this hollow. And that makes the base really heavy. And then to seal the lead in, so that nobody has to worry about being exposed to lead, I just cut a little round disc, and I glued it on off-center. Gives you a wider stance with the excess weight in it. You can hang a lantern. The lantern only weighs about an ounce, but it doesn't even move. In the original design, these were so light that if I would have put a weight of that heavy on it, it would fall over. So what I've done with some of these is I've donated them to people that are in shut-ins, so they can't live in extended care facilities. They can't have a Christmas tree, they can't have this, they can't have that. But we can set this on the little table. And the time key light turns on and off. Goes 6 hours on, 18 hours off, 6 hours on again. And everybody that's got one just loves it. Okay. I don't know how many of you seen the notice I sent out about the demo I did in Northwest Florida just before the hurricanes. And I demonstrated 3 Christmas ornaments, and this was one of them. These take about less than 3 minutes to make. Right? So when I got my process down, it took me a little longer than that, but once I got the process down, it only takes minutes to make these. And they're fun. They're fun to make, and they don't use a lot of wood. And I ended up doing these, silhouette tree, and a bell, Christmas bell. So you can watch that video if you haven't watched it already. And these I'm donating to Jeff for the cross cancer for their Christmas tree. The other thing I just finished, and I didn't quite finish it today, because I'm going to laser an image on here of a fish. There's a little ribbon on the bottom of it. It says "Gone Fishing." So as you can probably tell, I make a lot of whimsical urns. This is an urn. So there's a threaded plug on the bottom. And a quilter friend of mine this afternoon had this material, so she made that base for me, the base cover. So this is supposed to simulate water. And I think they did a pretty good job. And even had some bubbles in it, so I thought that was pretty cute. But that's just a segmented sphere. It's not a perfect sphere. I screwed it up, but I thought I wasn't going to throw it away, so I made it into a fishing bobber. So what the hell? Not all bobbers are perfectly sphered. That's all I got.
Quite a fish for that one.
What's that?
Quite the size of a fish for that one.
You can catch a big fish, yeah.
That's a big fish, yeah.
So, I found this whisk in the bottom of a drawer. It did not have a handle. And, well, waste not, want not. So, just nice little handle with a, it had nice, feels really good. Bert did a demonstration of the off-turning handles. Well, I didn't off-turn this one, but I did think about how to hold it and how, the feel of it, which was a lot of what he talked about. And so I thought it came up with a really nice sized handle. It's not totally finished. I just glued it in there a couple of days ago, but I do have to put a finish on it because there's no finish on it. And another in my series of little bowls. So this one's a bit bigger than the last ones I brought, but again, similar, with a nice wide brim on it. Bert gave me a kit to make a texturing tool, so I made the handle for that a while ago. And if you look closely on here, both on the back, on the little foot, and on the front, I've got texturing embellishment on the rim.
Who's Bert?
Bert just did the, this is Bert. That's Bert.
Thank you. Okay.
So I think this is ash, and it was a pretty much of a three-stage process. I did the outside, then I did the inside, and then I redid the outside because my chuck that holds it was a little big, and so when I first did the outside, I basically just did the rim and enough to enough to get it started, and then flipped it over and did the inside, holding my chuck, and finished it off with a set of the jaws with the little mummies on it. Is there a technical term for that?
Sounds good to me.
No. Cool jaws.
Cool jaws? Cool jaws. Yeah, so I got a little set of those, switched out the regular jaws on my little Record Power SC3. With the coal jaws, flipped it over, and redid the bottom, the outside, so that it had a nicer OG curve on it. So, OG curve. Okay.
This is a segmented turning, could be a cookie jar, could be an urn.
Here's the mic, can you hear me?
Yes. Segmented turning, could be a cookie jar, could be an urn, could be a vase. Maple, walnut, some black dyed veneer. Finished with birch Cassey tree wood.
How many segments do you actually toss after you cut to make the rings? Roy, you're an expert at that.
Not an expert. I don't keep track. Either way.
Are there many though?
Oh, yeah.
It fits.
It is beautiful.
Very nice.
How long does that take?
That puts away at it.
Can I see it?
I tried some magnets. In the lid. I put 4 quarter-inch magnets in there, but I would use stronger ones if I was to do it over. But it was just an experiment. I never tried it before. So.
You never tried the magnets before?
That's right.
Yeah, I know. It's how I bought it from the inside. It's gorgeous. Wow.
Very intricate work, very nice.
This is amazing, yeah. Smooth. Thank you. Of course. Talk to you. He's going to eat more too. It's good because I'm racking up the names.
I have to have a catch.
Anybody else?
I've had about 60 or 70. I've had more than one catch. It's different when we demonstrate.
Okay, so, oh, sorry. Okay, I guess this is a spalted birch, as you probably already know. Because of the shape that the wood was at the time, it's out of a crotch of spalted birch. I had this problem with the live edge, and it wasn't really a problem to me, other than thinking, like Stu said, it might separate. Thank goodness right now it hasn't done that. It was the inside of it. Basically, I ran a force a bit down to start off with, and then gingerly went down there with my tool to try and find some thickness, and it's not very thick, right about there on the ball. So I quit before I had to go all the way through it and then fill it up with an epoxy resin. So I think that's all in all on that one. This is its brother. The branch was a little bit longer. Basically just a straight kind of a vase idea. I just put it on a lathe and just, there was more the live edge there, but I just kept turning it, kept chipping out, so that was all that was left of it when I got through with it. No finish at the moment. Still toying with the idea of whether or not to finish with tung oil like that one. That on the outside has got 5 coats of tung oil. They've been put on in every an hour and a half or something like that. I didn't really pay that much attention to that. The inside I did, I think, 3 or 4 coats on the inside. And so this one, don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. It could be wipe on poly just for the heck of it and see what happens. But as you might notice, the spalting, that was what I was looking for, was to try and get that ready to pop. And having talked to Bert, Stu, who looked at a few spalting deals on birch on the internet, decided to go that route. Did try on a old piece of birch. I tried the tung oil on one side. Was it wipe on poly on the other? I can't remember now. But just to get an idea how it would show, and then I just chose the tung oil. That's it. Thank you. Is it? Oh, the Jim or Stu? You'll need that. All that. Well, I prefer that. You want to throw that?
So, you know, I'm trying to get into working with the lathe, and I'm getting it a little bit each time. So it's one of my attempts. This is me with elm from out of the backyard. So it was a branch that had been trimmed. And then I used the Ultra Shine for the finish. And I, just an attempt, keep going.
Very good.
Yeah, I got 3 pieces here tonight. One that everybody's being quite interested in is a wing. It's Manitoba maple. And as you all know, the maple has come out with a nice red tinge to it. And when we turned it it's there. A year later, it's gone. And I'm trying to capture that red to keep it there. So figured I'm going to add some color to this. So this is flood coated. And how I did it is I turned it, sanded it, finished it all up. And I put clear flood on. And then I brushed on in a few locations some red colored flood. And that's where, and also I used purple in it too. And I emphasized in a few areas the red, and I brushed it out a little bit more on the wings, and that, but it doesn't look quite as natural. But this piece in here, these three little notches of red, it looks natural, really, because that's not what it always looks like at times. And I think I captured it to how to do it, and I'm probably going to do a few more of these because I think it looks attractive.
How do you hold it on the lathe?
Well, there's a bottom on here. This is turned off after I finished doing everything.
Yeah.
Flood coated and all. It's finished completely. I jam it and turn the bottom off.
Okay.
Actually, I used the vacuum chuck to hold it.
Can you explain this flooding? The
flood coat?
Yeah.
It's a top coat of epoxy.
Okay.
And it's put on real thin. There's actually, I think I got at least 3 coats, maybe 4 coats on this one.
Okay.
And it's put on real thin.
Brushed
And
on?
I use a paintbrush.
Okay.
When I apply it, that's what I use. And I try to keep it as thin as I can because it'll run, it'll sag.
Yeah.
And I keep this on the lathe and it's turning all the time for a couple hours after I got it on. Until it stiffens up. Otherwise, if you let it sit, it'll sag and it'll it's a mess. Right? But it takes a bit of practice to get to it. I've done quite a few. I did it down here last year on flood coating, and we might even do another one. It's great. There's lots of people interested in it, and there's newcomers here that are probably interested in seeing it. You can get into it now too. So, it's fun. It's a mess, and it's just another thing. But
Did you saw any of that out, or was like that flat across the top?
Well, this was a log of it, the
yeah.
tree, right? But this, and it was green, and I turned it to that, and I turned it earlier this year. And it actually had a bad crack, and this was cracked pretty bad, and I figured I was going to lose it. I thought it was going to be firewood.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I got to try something, so I picked away at it and sanded it back, and it's kind of cut into shape, and I glued it up a bit and kept on going, and I ended up with it. So I think it was a good recovery.
That's great. I'd just like to remind everybody of something I brought up. I found the epoxy was so old it was solidified.
Yeah.
And they told me to put it in boiling water to get it really warm.
Okay.
And it worked. It started behaving itself again. So that's a good tip if anybody ever finds that it's solidifying. It needs to be heated up.
This is one that I turned last year, and I brought it to show Ken because he was asking me about putting leaves on wood, and the same effect as what I've got here. And anyway, I felt it's not totally a failure, but there are some little hiccups that I noticed that the leaf didn't stick properly, and there's a few light spots in it. You look close at it. There's a few areas that weren't quite right, but honestly, I don't think I'd do another one.
How'd you stick it on?
Sorry?
How'd you stick the leaves on?
It's all stuck on with the flood coat.
Okay.
With flood coat on, the leaves are dry, and I think they were too dry. Okay, and I ended up with a couple of little air pockets, I think, and tried to roll it out and that, but without working the leaf a lot, I didn't want to break them, I didn't want to get them started up really bad, so I didn't really work too hard at it. But and I thought I had it, but after it dried, I noticed a few spots that it lifted, so I'm just not really crazy about the procedure that I had to do with it.
It might be interesting to try something like that on a small scale with a
I probably went too big.
Fresh leaf.
But it was a piece that I had. I wondered It was just an idea that I had. So that's what I ended up with. It's supposed to, that's leaves from my grapes out the back. And I did a couple of wine glasses in here, so that's what the red is. So you can see the silhouette of the wine glass there.
Cool, very cool.
That was an idea that I had, so.
Good.
So, and this thing, it's an elm. A friend of mine's an arborist, and he told me he had some wood one day, so I got some, I think Ken and Bob, you got some too. Bert went back to pick up a few pieces. I said, well, get me a big piece. I want that big one. So, anyway, we ended up with this. Bert came and helped me put this on the lathe. We had a piece of wood that was, I don't know what that thing weighed. What do you think, Bert? Oh, I'm sure it was.
When they're
Anyway,
wet.
we trimmed it up a little bit with the chainsaw, and the two of us wrestled it up onto my lathe, and we managed to get it stuck on there, and we tried to core it, and we wanted to core the largest bowl out that we could, and anyway, my core knife wouldn't go deep enough to cut it loose, so we actually lost the core. So this is all I got out of that huge bowl, and it started out at about 23 inches across, and it's finished up at 17.
Wow.
But,
Does that turn on an outside of your lathe then?
no, inboard. I could turn 25 on my
Wow.
robust, so I had plenty of room for it. But it's a big turn, and I don't know if I'd do another one. It's a lot of work. So.
Pretty scary at times.
After it dries, the sanding comes in, and when you get this big, you can't turn it too fast. And sanding was a bit of a chore. It took quite a bit, but I managed to get it to where it is. So that's what I ended up with.
Yeah, beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Anyone else?
Who did the ducks?
That's wobbly.
Who's it cool?
Thank you. I turned the ducks here. I saw an article in a magazine called Wood Turning. It's an English magazine, and they have a lot of different ideas in there. This fella was watching different kind of birds, and he'd sketch profiles of these birds, and then he would turn them. So I saw that, and I figured I had to make something. So I turned ducks, and they're sort of funny shape, but they sort of look like ducks anyway. The interesting thing about this is you can make a jam chuck that's slightly smaller diameter than the piece you're turning, and you push it into the jam chuck, and it'll hold it perfect for rounding off the ends here. It doesn't move or anything. I was very surprised. So that's a neat technique for doing this here. And then I had wood left over from some charcuterie boards. I had a piece of mesquite, and I built a mesquite, and then when cutting out the handle part, I had this left over, so I figured that was a good thing to mount it on. So.
It's the right color, of course.
Yeah, right color too, yeah.
It looks like you're on the farm.
Yeah. Well, my sister-in-law saw it, and he said, looked like you're riding on the back of a whale.
How do you get it to do the tail?
The tail,
Yeah.
you turn a full diameter piece here, and then you use your sander and sand away all the rest of it, and just leave that little piece that's sticking up.
Oh, it's not offset turn there. It's not offset turn?
No, it was turned completely and then just sanded off. So. You must like sanding.
You must like sanding.
Well, you've got a full-size sander. Just sander and sand it out.
Full-size sander, half-size duck.